In your opinion, if you are having sex with a lamp,
yes.
Do you think the lamp could top you, or do you think the lamp is a bottom? Hello, and welcome to Say Smut, a literary podcast for readers and non-readers. This is typically the part where Hope says, "That's Sarah, and she loves books." And then I say, "That's Hope, she loves talking to me about books." But I am not with Hope today because she is on vacation. Instead, I am with friend of the podcast and friend in real life, Madison Tuttle. Madison, hello.
Sarah, I'm literally so excited and flattered that you would let me guest host. I know Hope's shoes will be difficult for me to fill. I will try my best.
Well, we're honored to have you, Miss Government Agency that I probably shouldn't announce. But we have a really fun subject today. But before we jump in, because you're a reader, but you're not a smut reader.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I have a couple of questions. First of all, what are you reading right now?
I just finished a really, really interesting book about the self-improvement movement and how technology and AI has kind of infiltrated this movement and probably made us worse off, in my own opinion.
Wow, that's really, really deep for our audience. But impressive. Look, I am constantly in awe of AI, and I'm constantly in my professional job, like, talking about AI as well. So I think it's interesting that we're kind of on this, like, what is the good and the evil of this, right? It's a little Jurassic World-y, a Jurassic Park-y, where you're kind of like good intentions, but could go really sideways.
Yeah, and like, I'm sure as you know, I love reading like dystopia books. And so for us to be at a point where like these technologies are becoming increasingly more integrated in our daily lives is equally really cool and also terrifying.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to more fun stuff, which is what are you looking forward to reading this year?
Ooh, okay. So I already read Emily Henry's new book. So
oh yeah.
What else? No, I'm also reading another probably sad book about the erosion of community in the United States. Again, fascinating. Maybe I'll look for something a little happier later this year, though.
Here's what I'll say, though. One of our friend of the pod, Liz, loves smut and stuff with me, but she's reading a nonfiction book right now about incel communities and how they came about, and it's been really fascinating to hear secondhand. So, like, look, we're not completely against nonfiction, but what I'll say about you is you don't read smut, but you do like non-reliable narrators.
Yes, I love a literary fiction where every character is just kind of awful.
Yeah, and I'm petrified of those. So, like, there's some of them that I can get on board with, but, like, when they're that awful, it's like I don't know. There's something about it that's a little too far for me, personally.
Yeah, and, like, I don't think I'm actually that cynical, like, in real life. I hope not, at least, but there's just something about those books where you get to the end and you're like, nobody is better than they were before. Like, everyone is truly kind of the worst version of themselves.
My happily ever after side can't handle that. Thank you. But what is your biggest book ick? Like, what do you get into a book and if you read this, you're like, no, thank you.
I think, honestly, I don't like predictable fiction except for a certain genre of rom-com, and I don't know why. That's my like exclusive. Again, like the Emily Henrys, the Allie Hazelwoods. I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm having the best time.
Yeah.
But if I pick up something that is not in that exact genre and they do have that like happy, like everything gets tied up at the end ending, I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah. No, knowing your personality. Can I tell how we met?
Yes, absolutely.
Can I tell our meet cute?
Oh, yes.
It's my favorite story to tell. Which is that Madison and I went to the same college that we are now going to be teaching at together. this fall. But she and I met at the school newspaper. We became organically friends. And then her grandma came to visit and ran into me. She's like, oh my gosh, you're John and Muriel's daughter or granddaughter. And I was like, yeah. Turns out our grandmas, when they were 20 years old, lived together in the city we are from, and like met their current husbands. And then here we are years later creating a friendship of our own organically and lifelong friends.
I know. I feel like it was kind of meant to be.
No,
a little bit. Like, what are the odds that would happen?
It is fate. It is
written in the stars.
Written in the stars. This is our romance story. But I've had so many years to know you and know your personality. So when I gave you Allie Hazelwood's Love Hypothesis, which we covered like episode something, very beginning of this podcast, you were texting me from like landing on a plane on a flight or something, and you were like, what have you done to me?
Yeah.
It was the best.
I genuinely think that was the first rom-com book that I've read in years, because even rom-com movies I don't watch. I'm like, I don't care, it's cliche. But I trust your recommendations always. But I literally, sat on the plane. Like, I didn't want to get off the plane because I was like, I'm not done with this book. Like, you can't ask me to get off the plane and not finish this book. So I got a little hooked, one could say.
Look, she has a new one that just came out called Not in Love. And that one is supposed to be her sexiest stuff yet. So
that's
I know
right
you're not in it for the sex. That's what I'm in it for. But no, okay. Can I tell you a little bit of beef I have before we get into the book?
Always, yes.
Okay, I have this arch nemesis.
Yes.
Who's an author. And she doesn't know we're arch nemesis. Maybe she does, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name drop.
Okay.
Because that feels rude.
Sure.
But gosh, I'm going to sound so petty.
No, I love this. I think it's best when your arch nemesis don't actually know.
No.
You know, that they are your arch nemesis.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite micro tropes of life, which is I secretly can't stand this person for no other reason than they don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then I read her book because I fall into the book talk track of here is a small snippet of 4 sentences from my book, my indie book, and you should buy it. And then I get sucked in and I'm like, okay, sure. And I spend the money on it. So hers was not, I did not have a Kindle at the time. So I bought the physical copy for like $15 or something. And I was like, you know what? I support indie. Plus the cover was super cute.
Yeah.
But it was a chunky book. For a contemporary romance, I firmly believe contemporary romances should not be more than 400 pages. There's no need for you to make me go through more than 400 pages.
I completely agree. I would honestly say 300.
Yeah. No. 350 is the sweet spot. But this was a super long book. I had a sinus infection. I get one every single year on the clock. And I was like, you know what? I just want a fluffy rom-com. Like, this is going to be great. It is the worst book I've ever read. I would have DNF'd if I wasn't in the mood of like, I spent my well-earned money on this. I'm going to see this out.
Sure. Yeah. That's like a hateful Midwestern attitude.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to finish this out. And I wrote a review. If you follow me on Goodreads, it's my most liked review. It is the top review you see when you go to her book, this book of hers. It is the number 1 review you see. I think I gave it a 1 star. It is the only time I would finish a 1-star book, because in my mind, if it's 1 star, it's DNF.
Right. I also know none of this, so I'm so excited right now.
No. I went deep. I think like I was just sick, and I was like, I feel sick in the brain.
Sure.
Like I'm gonna be
right. It made you feel worse.
Look, and as somebody who also enjoys writing and who enjoys professionally and recreationally, like I never want to be an asshole to be an asshole.
Sure.
Right? Like people put their work out there. I never want to be that person. But this book was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Anyway, so, and it was a book that didn't have many reviews. It didn't have many reads. I looked like on Amazon and stuff too to see like, am I in the minority? No. I've had so many people like my review of it, and I just went off. Like, it is multiple paragraphs of a review.
This is so good.
No. It's, I thought I was hilarious in the review too, because I think I'm funny, but
you are. You are.
But Madison and I are always like, we're just delusional friends who just are constantly affirming each other's wrongs.
That's what friends are for.
So anyway, but she's now all over my TikTok. Look, okay, so I bought this book maybe, oh God, a year ago.
Yeah.
I have not seen her on my TikTok since I bought the book.
Yeah.
And now she is all over my TikTok.
Yeah.
And she's posting things like, I have hundreds of thousands of reviews on my book. And I'm thinking, no, you don't. And I went, because I'm a journalist, I went and fact check her.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, no, you don't.
Yeah.
And I want to comment and be like, my girl, like the way you're marketing your book, like I know you're an author. I know you're trying to market your stuff. I get that. But oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, I'm the number one review that comes up when you look up your book.
Right.
And I'm so sorry to tell you.
Iconic to begin with, yes.
I don't want to be a hater. I don't.
Yeah.
But it is the world we live in.
Sometimes you have to be the voice of reason, you know?
No, Madison, like, and I'm the person that loves corny romance. I even disclosed that in the review. I'm like, I love a happily ever after. Right. I love a corny, like, this would never happen in real life.
Yeah.
This is not me being pretentious. I literally have a smut podcast.
Right.
What do you want? Like,
right. You're uniquely qualified to make this review.
To be a hater.
Exactly. Yeah. Certified hater.
Certified. What? Certified? No. A little Drake and Kendrick. But no, I keep seeing her stuff pop up, and I have told TikTok, you know how you can put on the setting that you're like, I am not interested in this type of content. Every time I see her stuff, I do that. Yeah. And sure enough, they still have it pop up. And I'm like, she has another book coming out. It's scaring me.
Oh.
Anyway, so, if you follow me on Goodreads, it's pretty easy to figure out which review this is. But,
yeah, I'm about to go find it after we
are done recording, I'll hand you my phone with the the review on it.
Wait.
Oh, okay, yeah. No. I have a couple of beefs with people who are purely just because I just don't like them. Like, for some, like the other day I told somebody, what is your celebrity nemesis for no reason?
Yeah.
Mine is Joey King.
You said no reason. I was going to ask why, but you literally said no reason.
Here's the thing. I don't mind her when she's not in a movie or in a TV show, but guess what? That's her profession.
I was going to say, where else are you seeing her?
Like, when I see her on TikTok or in like, interviews and stuff, I'm like, oh, you seem so pleasant. But as soon as I see her acting, I'm like, no. I also feel that way about Pink. For some reason, I can't tell you. Do you have an arch nemesis?
Now I'm like trying to think if I have one.
You've got to have one.
I'm sure that I do. Like, I'm trying to think of someone that I see and I'm just like, I can't, consume whatever media you're putting out.
Because, like, I can tell you that I hate Jared Leto, but that's because obviously he's a creep and, like, does things on set and stuff that we've found out over time. Right? But, like, these are people I genuinely should not like. You know, like, I just... But here we are.
Yeah, it's that hater blood coursing through your veins a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now are you ready to get into our book?
Yeah,
that I specially chose for you.
I'm completely stumped. Like, okay. I'm gonna spend the rest of the night thinking about who I don't like.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to hear who it is. Okay, so we are reading "Light Me Up" by Sabrina Cross. Okay, I'm going to let you know now that there's a little bit of content warning to do with drug use, light drug use, and light alcohol use, but not, like, I'm going to touch on it and go, so it's not going to be, like, a long thing. I forgot to look up the Storygraph review, so sorry, but on Goodreads, it has a 3.75. And to get to know a little bit about our author, Sabrina Cross, this is from her Amazon profile. She is a fan of monsters since first seeing the Beast in the X-Men cartoons as a young child in the 90s. Sabrina now devours monster romances, Corny is her first published novel. When she's not reading or writing about getting railed by monsters, she can be found knitting or hanging out with her cat.
I think I would vibe with her.
No, Sabrina's my friend. Sabrina and I go way back to a couple of hours ago when I read this book.
Wait, you just read this?
No, I have to have it so fresh in my brain.
I do understand that, yeah.
No, because I read so much and I read so fast sometimes that I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes books are about entertainment and not retention.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when it's a 30-page smut book like today.
Wow. I'm already going to read it. It's only 30 pages.
Yeah. No, you love a short book.
Oh, I sure do.
I sure do. Okay. So I'm going to read you the first lines of this book that it opens with. Quote, "He was the first man to ever turn me on. When he flipped my switch and lit me up the first time, I knew he was it for me. There would never be another." Okay.
I'm trying to like get ahead of this and like figure out what the title actually means in this context.
Okay, where are you at?
Light me up. I'm really just thinking of like a cigarette, but I don't think that is gonna work.
That would be a good catch.
I don't think that's gonna work. I do like monsters though. All right, like I can get into it. Big Godzilla fan.
Big Godzilla fan.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess he's not making an appearance, but
he will not today. We do have multiple monster smut books that we've covered.
Yes.
So, no, our main character, his name is Lux.
Okay.
And he is a lamp.
I was literally gonna say, is this like the candlestick from Beauty and the Beast?
You know what? That's a good start. I like that.
Okay.
No. He's a lamp. Specifically, he is a studio design lamp, task lamp, made of aluminum alloy featuring a weighted base, an adjustable arm with external springs, and a 360-degree rotating head. So,
like, does he have human features, or is he really?
No.
He's really just a lamp.
No, he's literally a lamp. Okay.
I'm intrigued.
How do you think he became a lamp that has consciousness?
It's either going to be something that I find really interesting, like we're living like in the year 3000.
Oh.
Or
Jonas Bros.
Yeah, JB's shout out. Or it is going to be like Beauty and the Beast, like there's some magic.
Well, he reveals to us that he became a living object when he was plugged in at his first home, but not used yet. And Thor's lightning hit the house, and he got special god powers. So note that, did you ever listen to our episode about Unhinged?
Yes.
The door.
Uh-huh.
Let's not forget that also had Zeus in it, who is the god.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So you're going to see some parallels between these two books.
This is really like intertextual
No.
mythology. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love a good mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah, mythology.
This was actually my next guess of how he got
it was on the roster.
Yeah.
So he can even move around.
Okay.
He can talk.
Yeah.
He can hear, obviously. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he was like, he can also like move around and unplug himself and stuff, but he can only go for a little while, and then he kind of like the battery dies out.
Yeah.
Okay. But the woman whose home he was in before, who initially got him, gave him to a secondhand store because she was really freaked out that she kept finding him in random places. Like, it's kind of like the Annabelle doll, like just showing up.
Yeah. I would get freaked out too if I had a haunted lamp.
And again, I'm like, it's a lamp, so you're kind of like, I don't need you.
Right, exactly. Go get a new one.
Yeah, go to Home Depot.
Right, exactly.
Grab a new one.
You don't need a cursed lamp.
No. So the man that Lux is in love with, his name is Jake.
Okay.
He is a university student who lives with 3 other guys off campus. And the next chapter, we switch to Jake's point of view, in which he is masturbating. How did we get here, do you ask? When we were in college, because we were in college together, did you ever have weird games that stood out to you at like college parties or like with friends and stuff? You're just trying to like kill time, or you guys are drinking, whatever. Were there any, like, games that you did that were kind of off the wall?
Yeah, so here's my hater moment. Is I don't like going to parties and playing games.
No, you really don't like games.
Literally, I'm like, get away. Like, I want to go stand in the corner and talk. So, unfortunately, I am a hater. I could play a game of Flip Cup.
No, Flip Cup is great.
That's about as crazy as I got.
No, yeah. There's a lot of, I think there's a lot of names for this one, but you put a beer can in the middle and you have, like, a bunch of cards around the end. Yeah, around in a circle, and then you pull and you have to put it in the tab.
Yeah.
And then obviously beer pong.
Sure.
I was so good at beer pong. And for those who don't know, I was a semi-alcoholic, and I have gone mostly sober now. So, I feel like all college kids find a way to find fun in weird activities, right?
Yeah.
So how did we get here? Jake and his roommates had a bunch of random pills that they didn't know what they did.
Sure.
And they dropped them into cups and played essentially beer pong, except for instead of drinking beer, they would take the pill in the cup. And of course, that means that our friend Jake gets stuck with Viagra.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So poor Jake now has had the symptoms for over an hour. He's had 4 orgasms. He can't get his dick to go down.
Yeah.
Like, it is a problem.
Yeah.
And Jake's about to, like, I just told you that I'm, like, one minor inconvenience away from, like, crying, screaming, throwing up, laughing. Anyway, so Jake is, like, at this point, too.
Yeah.
Right? Where he's like, I'm going to cry if I keep on having a hard-on.
Yeah.
When a voice from the corner of his room says, I could help with that.
Did Jake consider going to the emergency room?
No, they're college boys. What do you think?
You're right. You can't afford that in college.
No. I think this is also because somebody says "oi, mate," and I think this is not in America, so they might not have.
Oh, they might actually have health care.
Yeah, they might have health care.
Yeah. Oh my god, I got to the doctor. What were the other pills? Did they say that?
Well, they were saying like that.
This book is only 30 pages. I can't.
No, it has a lot for 30 pages.
Okay.
But they have. I think they were saying like there's uppers and downers and sleeping pills and like all sorts of things.
Yeah, this sounds really unsafe.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also, it's not clear to me whether he had one pill or multiple pills.
Yeah.
So I'm also curious about that because we're going to get into it.
Okay.
So he obviously hears, I could help you with that. And he's trying to figure out where the sound's coming from.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it is from the lamp on his desk. So he thinks he's hallucinating, which at this point, if I've taken multiple pills, I don't know what they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Lux says to him, I've never seen you so hard. And of course, Jake freaks out and he's like, you've seen me hard? And I want to emphasize this because this happened in Unhinged as well, which is that like the door, didn't realize or like was like, oh, you do that thing with that little shivering blue stick.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my gosh, you've seen me masturbate? It's like, no, this is a object in your home.
Right.
Of course they've seen you.
Yeah, they see everything.
They see everything. Yeah. Anyway, so I just think it's hilarious when they're like, oh my God, no, this has been in your room for how long? They've seen you undress. They've seen you dress. They've probably seen you cry over homework.
100%. Like they see you at your worst.
Yeah. And at your best.
Well,
and they
also
love
that.
you either way.
Equal opportunity lover.
Absolutely. So then Jake isn't quite sure what's going on, but he's like willing to take the help. He's like, you know what? I'm delusional right now. We'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, ask the lamp. Yeah.
And let's not forget the lamp is in love with him.
Also that helps too.
Yeah. So he's on his side.
Right.
So the lamp says, wrap my cord around yourself. I'll do the rest. Mm-hmm. This is an audio medium, just a reminder.
Sorry, I'm just looking at Sarah because I'm scared that the lamp's going to kill this man.
Well, he even is like, this doesn't feel safe.
I was like, that's probably not the direction this is going. I'm just like, the lamp's going to strangle a man.
You're like, this is a horror book now.
I was like, oh.
Okay, so Jake rips out the cord from the wall, and Lux says, quote, I know you like it rough, but do be gentle. I'm more breakable than most of your partners.
Wow. I feel like the lamp's been sitting on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh, he's been sitting on this,
waiting for the opportunity to say that.
In your opinion, if you are having sex with a lamp,
yes,
do you think the lamp could top you, or do you think the lamp is a bottom?
I'm really, like, thinking through this right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go top.
No, yeah. Lux is topping hard.
Yeah.
Very, very hard.
Yeah.
He is, like, dirty talking up the wazoo. He's like, I'll be your god. Like, you're going to scream my name. Like...
Is this, like, a table lamp or, like, a floor lamp?
No, this is a table lamp. This is, like, one of those small ones you get for your desk have, like, light.
See, I was thinking, like, it was a floor lamp.
No, I gave you the description.
I know.
Okay. So, he wraps the cord around his penis. And Lux pushes electricity through the cord, which somehow makes the cord vibrate.
Sure. Again, safe.
You're a woman in STEM. How does that work, Madison?
So, to me, the only option is electrocution in this scenario. But maybe there's something I don't know.
Well, obviously, this is Thor's magic,
You're
too,
right. See, I probably just don't understand.
When Jake reaches completion, he just leaves Lux there. He just, like, walks out of the room, doesn't say another word, which breaks Lux's little LED heart.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of devastating.
Yeah, I mean, he's in love with this man. He finally got to get dirty with this man.
I know, and he just gets up and leaves.
So, Jake doesn't plug Lux in for a week, meaning Lux has lost consciousness, right? Like, you know, he's burned out a battery and whatnot.
Right.
So he tries to plug Lux in, but Lux is, like, refusing to work. And so he's kind of, like, sweet-talking him. He's like, you know, please, like... And then finally, when Lux turns on, he, like, chews Jake out. He's like, you user, you used me. And Jake's like, you sound like a disgruntled girlfriend. Like, which... Jake is kind of a douche.
I was going to say, I'm kind of on the lamp side right now.
No, I'm full... But we also know the lamp's in love with him. We know a lot more about the lamp than Jake knows.
Yeah.
So, Jake's, like, convinced this is a hallucination. He's like, I'm going to go drinking with my friends. When he comes back, he's drunk from the bar. Now, it seems like he and his roommates have definitely hooked up at some point.
Sure.
As you do.
When in Rome.
Because Jake is, like, kissing this guy, and the guy's, like, kissing him back, but then is like, I don't want your limp dick tonight. And then he's, like, puts him on the bed and leaves. And then Jake, for a moment, is like, maybe I'll go see if my other roommate wants to hook up. It's like, oh, okay.
Right. It just be that way in the apartment sometimes.
Yeah, you know? Anyway, so this house is super frisky. Right down to the lamp, you know?
For real.
And... This just starts another fight between Lux and Jake for some reason about how Jake is drinking so much more now. And, like, he used to not drink as much. And, you know, whatever. I don't know.
Is Jake at all concerned that his most morally correct voice in his life is a lamp?
He is so convinced he's still, like, riding a high, like, a week later, that he's hallucinating. And then he's like, but at one point, Lux does say, like... I realize that I've had years to understand that I have consciousness. I understand that's not normal for other people, and I need to have understanding that that would be a bit of a culture shock.
For sure. I feel like Jake is not sympathetic.
No. So, this starts another fight, and of course, another week goes by. Sorry. My cat decided at this moment he was going to start playing with his balls, but I don't mean it that way. It, like, the little sound shaker balls.
Look, he's vibing.
Having a son is hard. Okay, so another week goes by, and Lux keeps showing up in odd places, like he's trying to leave. And he's also refusing to work.
Yeah.
And Jake is, like, trying to apologize. And he's, like, kind of stroking the arm of the lamp.
Yeah.
Okay? He's like, please work for me, blah, blah, blah. And at one point... Lux is like, if you keep doing that.
Right.
And then Jake's like, whoa, I didn't know that I was stroking something important.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not really 100% sure how the anatomy of a lamp that is humanoid works.
Yeah.
But I will say that Lux is getting turned on in all senses of the word.
Yeah.
So while Jake is stroking his arm / penis or whatever, Jake is also getting turned on because as we know, Lux is very vocal, and Jake loves sex noises. That's how he gets turned on. So Lux is like getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter until his light goes out. Yeah. And he reaches some sort of completion. Sure. I'm tracking. You're looking at me like, of course, Sarah, that's obviously how that works.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they do the whole chord thing that they did earlier, too, until Jake reaches completion. But Lux is like, I'm not done with you yet. In fact, he says, quote, I was happy to exist, but being a lamp was somewhat of a mood killer right now.
I think that's probably a valid point in this scenario.
Yeah.
But again, Jake, bestie.
Jake, I mean, you're getting what you want out of this. This is not crazy.
Like, does he have homework he should do? Should he maybe, again, just get another lamp?
You're saying that you think he should dip out of this relationship.
Well, obviously the lamp's unhappy. Obviously the relationship dynamic is bad.
Well,
nobody's happy.
Well, they're about to be very happy.
Okay.
Because Lux tells Jake to take out his light bulb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think we're going with this one?
I'm scared.
No, but where do you think we're going? You have to tell me.
Is he gonna do like a magic trick, where he puts it in his mouth?
What? What's the magic?
I'm thinking of it the other way, where the magician like pulls the light bulb out of their mouth.
I've never heard of that. I'm gonna be really honest. I've heard of a lot of things, but I've not heard of like pulling a light bulb out of your mouth. Okay.
We'll need to fact check many things.
Yeah. I'm used to them, like, they'll pull, like, little ribbons and stuff out of their mouth, but
I think someone did a light bulb. Or maybe the light bulb lit up in their mouth.
Well, Lux, I'm going to tell you right now, there's not really, well, I guess you could call it a magic trick. Lux tells Jake to suck on it.
I was close, in the mouth.
I was close.
I was so close.
But Jake gets kind of freaked out because he's like, this doesn't feel safe. And
yes.
He's like, I have been made from Thor. Like, I am indestructible. Like, but also you didn't say that earlier. You literally said I was more breakable than some of your other partners.
That is true.
But he says that, like, the glass is unbreakable.
Yeah.
Who knows? So, he puts the light bulb in his mouth, and then Lux puts Jake's penis into his socket, the light bulb socket.
Again, safe.
And then pushes a little electricity through.
Great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That won't cause lasting damage.
I mean, he's probably hallucinating now.
I would think so. I would hope so.
And Jake says, oh, God. And a voice comes from the doorway that says, I am a god, but I don't believe I am your god. Who is it?
Is it Thor?
Yes, it is in fact Thor. It is a tall blonde guy in a suit, and he's like, I've been looking for you, dude, little man. Talking about Lux.
Yeah.
And this is like the age-old problem that happened in Unhinged, which is that a god does something, and then they try and come back and rectify it.
Yeah.
And Thor's like, I'm going to take you out of existence. And all of a sudden, Jake is freaking out. He's like, no, you can't have him. I won't let you touch him. And all of a sudden, Jake's super defensive and protective.
Yeah.
And Lux is like, I am a fully developed lamp. I have full consciousness. Don't take this away from me. And for some reason, Thor is like, you know what? I hear you, little man. I will help you out. And he makes him into a human body.
Oh, that was nice.
And so Lux turns into a tall, lean, blonde-haired guy with light silvery eyes. And I'm going to let you know right now that this is the end of our book.
Okay.
But I have a couple more, like, I have a little finishing point. But how do you think we're going to top this off? Like, how do you think this is going to finish here?
So I'm getting concerned for Lux because at this point, I feel like he is just trapped with Jake because does Lux have a social security number? Does Lux have any sort of education to get any form of employment? I just feel like he's trapped.
I'm so excited to tell you that I have answers to all of this. because
I'm so happy.
Apparently Thor left behind an identity of like IDs for him, and then some money and an apartment.
Okay, so everything's fine.
Yeah, he was like, it doesn't mean like I have like everything to live off of, but I do have like
a place to start,
a life to start. And Lux enrolls in college to become an electrician.
Aww.
Yes. Jake and Lux move in together, and there's some growing pains.
Sure.
But Jake would remind, because Lux would think he's leaving him all the time.
Right.
And Jake would remind him, quote, I stood up to a literal god to keep you, and you think an argument or dishes is going to be enough to drive me away?
It's kind of nice.
Yeah, you really can't. He was a douche for like 20 of the 30 pages.
I was going to say, I am concerned about how things started.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But
also, how do you expect things to start when it's a lamp?
That is fair. Yeah.
So that is the end of our book.
Yeah.
We go through some of our final moments. I will tell you right now that I'm not going to go through our scoring card.
Yeah.
But just overall vibes. What do you think?
I'm actually not upset about it.
Oh. You seemed upset there.
Yeah, like there's some things I'm worried about for sure, but considering it is 30 pages, I feel like it was a succinct story. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'll give it to her.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things I think with novellas that kind of irritates me sometimes is like, oh, we're going to only have one scene in the entire 30 pages. Yeah. But they crammed like 2 fights.
Right, there was a lot of action for 30 pages. Yeah.
Multiple sex scenes, not just one. So, yeah, they got their use out of it.
Yeah. Again, love a short book, love a novella.
What is your Say Smut moment? I think it's any time he put electricity through him.
I was going to say, I think that would have to be it for me, because that's, I think, where I was really starting to think kind of hard about this one, you know?
Yeah, and he did say that when he put Jake's penis into his socket, it only covered the head.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because it's not a very deep socket.
Sure.
So I appreciated the accuracy of the anatomy.
Yeah. She probably looked at a lamp.
Sabrina had a lamp or two.
Yeah.
You know. Well, thank you, Madison, for joining us.
My goodness.
You can find us, if you so choose, on TikTok or Instagram at Say Smut Podcast. Additionally, we'd love to hear your book recommendations. Send us those our way via email at saysmutpodcast@gmail.com. Also, pop us a review if you loved this. If you hated it, let's talk it out. But thank you so much, Madison. We appreciate it.
Sarah, thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry if I take your reviews.